Yo, 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 yo. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Let's see. It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a podcast to step to. Think of how many week shows you slept through. Time's up. I'm sorry I kept you. All right.
Big T, what up?
What up? What up? Okay, that's different. Different furniture there. Little Laker color. Uh,
Huh?
I was just saying that you got a different color scheme than we're used to.
Oh, yeah. Same spot. We just redid it. We painted the wall. It's all
Yeah.
different thing, and you see, we added the lights and bookshelf, bookcase built, and that's why the electrician was here last week and all that stuff. So new look.
In case you guys didn't know, my guy likes to flex. So remodeling in a pandemic. That's what he's doing, y'all. That's
No,
what he's doing, y'all.
after we saw Danielle's background, Britt been like, "Listen, our background sucks, and I see patience."
Mm,
She said, "My patients need to see."
hmm Well, that being said, I am AC from LA. That's my man Trey Hop. We are two-thirds of the collective podcast. As usual, somebody got to show up late. So since Trey made it before Rodney, although after 12, we're gonna mark Trey on time. What's up, Damian Davis? We're gonna mark Trey on time, and then we're just gonna call Rodney tardy, and that's assuming that Rodney even shows up. He claims that he will be. We'll we'll see. We'll see what happens. Can't
Okay.
really see this. I think it's because I have a white one, but this is the white. Let's see if I back up a little bit. Legal Hustle T-shirt.
Oh,
And
white on
again,
white?
it was gray on white, but I think the lighting makes it a little difficult to see
Is
the
it like a
actual logo.
gray, like a deep gray, or is it more like a foil?
No, it's a deep gray. It's just the lighting makes it difficult. So it's the same gray that's on all the other colors. It's just that
Oh,
you
okay,
can't really see it on the white. So,
gotcha.
but you guys can check that out at thelegalhustle.com. But again, this is the Collective Podcast live. It's episode 44. I am AC. I am Tony. I am SenQ. I am Anthony. And then my man here, TreVon or Trey. He keeps it pretty simple. That's, that's I mean, you could throw in TreVon L, but
No,
yeah,
I got three. I got three going.
and
That's what
three.
it was at Fairfax. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was like three. Yeah.
yeah. So, if you guys don't know this guy, we grew up together, and in our in our heyday, we were always innovators, right? So we had pagers, and we always had advanced pagers, but we took the pagers so far, we decided to make the pagers part of our wardrobe. So we had leather, 100% leather pager cases with our nicknames embroidered on them. His said Trey, and mine said Tone. Um, and and they
Mind
were
you,
black with gray.
for
Black,
like 365 days straight, we wore
yeah,
our shirts tucked inside.
yeah. I mean, you gotta not just know that I have a pager, but you have to you have to see what I went through to show you. So
Right.
straight up, straight up. All right, so I don't think we need to wait for Rod to get into it. He didn't ask us to reserve anything. Let's start with you and your guy, Anthony Cobbs. I don't know if he. What's good? Yeah, what's good? You coming through or what? Do you want to comment on Doug Peterson? You want to just leave it to Trey? Let's talk about the ouster of the Philadelphia football team's head football coach, Doug Peterson. Trey, react.
Ouch. But I mean,
What's up, Ina?
when you don't win that division, then Ina, what's up, Ina? She goes way back. Shouts out to Ina. I was a little rider. She got the cutest little boy. But yeah, man. Eagles. When
Yeah,
you finish,
you know, like your zip hoodie right there. Eagles.
when you have a season like we had, with a quarterback that's supposed to produce and did it the way ours did it, our overpaid one, $109 million, all of it guaranteed. Somebody's got to go, or two people got to go. I think just at this time, it was time for the coach to go. I think they need to start something fresh. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about, where our new quarterback, if that happens, can take us. And yeah, man, keep it Philly.
So
It's a shame that he had to go because just 3 years ago we won the Super Bowl.
oh, you won the Super Bowl 3 years ago.
Yeah, we won the Super Bowl 3 years ago. I had to throw that in there, throw some light on it.
Okay, so is it a shame that he had to go?
It's a shame that. Well, I'm a person. I don't think anybody should just lose their job like that. Especially shit. We're in the middle of a pandemic. I mean, I'm sure he'll pick up another job with another position with another team.
A position, but not a head coaching position.
Just
right?
Exactly. He'll be fine. I think we'll be fine. Again, it's always not the coach. Yeah, it was just this time, man. It was this time. I'm excited about where the Eagles are going to go from here.
So let me ask you: do you have license to be excited already after this disastrous season?
I can only be excited, but then I can turn around and ask you at the same time. Aren't you excited?
Please ask me. Please ask me.
Aren't you excited about the 49ers next year?
Absolutely. But guess what? My head coach is still in place, buddy. There's a reason why we had a disaster.
All right, X.
Hey, there's a reason why we had a disaster season, Trey. Is there a reason for yours? Like, I wasn't even trying to throw shade, but is there a reason? We all know everybody was injured on the 49ers. Everybody.
Exactly. And we have an overrated, overpaid quarterback.
No, but Trey, it took 6 wins to win that division, and you guys came in like far fourth, like 3 games back.
That's gonna happen when your quarterback is scared. When your quarterback is scared, that's gonna happen, bro. Cobbs, did he look scared back there?
He looked he looked like he ain't never seen a pass rush before, man.
I can't follow that.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
I think that sums it up. I mean, Peterson was in a no-win situation. He was a soldier. He took the sword. He fell on the sword for the organization by saying it was his decision to bench Jalen Hurts in that last game, and everybody's putting the whole thing on that last game. But that was just a morsel of all the problems that was within the organization, from Howie Roseman all the way to Jeffrey Lurie, making 2 exit interviews to make the decision on getting rid of the man. It wasn't his fault. The team was as bad as it was. Everything was bad, from Howie Roseman's draft picks to playing 2 consecutive seasons with practice squad receivers. That's GM stuff. Why don't we have professional receivers in key games? Why do we keep playing with guys that are on practice squad contracts? Because that's just not good management. You put all your money in one basket, and he turns out to be scared, like Trey said. He's scared money because he didn't have his binky all year in Zach Ertz. And then when the line fell apart, he didn't look the part. I think Wentz can still play, but he needs to play somewhere else. I think he's lost the locker room as a player, as a leader, and somebody that has their back. There was some truth to what Alshon Jeffrey said way back when about his leadership skills. So this all falls on Doug Peterson because he's the one that gets let go. But I believe Howie Roseman needs to go. He's a bad decision maker when it comes to player personnel. And we have a bad roster right now with a lot of holes in it. So I don't think it's going to be a cool situation for whoever comes in. My suggestion is to stay in-house because anybody you bring in is going to inherit a very bad situation. At least Deuce Staley, if he gets an opportunity, knows the temperature of the locker room. He may not have head coach experience, but he can get those guys to rally, and he just needs to hire 2 very smart coordinators to have a decent 3-year span, because anybody that bring in there, the Eagle fan, when they're allowed back in the link, they're going to destroy him, because it's going to be a quarterback controversy, and whoever he picks is going to be the wrong pick as soon as things go wrong. So Doug Peterson's going to be all right. He probably get a job in about a couple of weeks. All these openings. He's not a bad coach, and he won a Super Bowl like last week. So I think it's going to be all right for Doug Peterson.
So did you say Deuce Staley?
Deuce Staley, running back.
No, I would love to see. He's a Philadelphia stalwart. I'd love to see. First of all, he's a black coach, and I'd love to see him go back to his roots and turn that thing around. Because I have nothing against you guys, other than the fact that Trey is a very poor sport. Trey is a poor sport. I stand by that. I love him, but I hate that he's a poor sport. But I have a question before we introduce Rod or T. Cobbs.
Methuselah.
I need to know, do you allow this guy to still be an Eagles fan if he does things like this? He's talking about we, but I saw him. What up, Shay? Come on, Shay. But I saw him on a we the other day. That's a Rams hat.
Yeah, you can't be in the same. You can't be in the same conference. Yeah, you gotta go. You gotta go AFC with your B team. You can't stay in the same conference with your B team.
I have this conversation.
Hold on, Trey. I'm asking who we know is a real Eagles fan. I'm asking him if you're allowed to stay.
Yes.
Hold on.
Diehard Eagles
can
fan.
stay.
No, you gotta flip. You gotta go to the other conference.
I don't live in Philly, but that's who I give my money to. So if you're not playing the Eagles,
you got a reprieve this year. You got to keep your money this year.
So let me ask you this, AC.
Okay.
You at the games.
Okay. So you
every
Rams
game you saw me at, and they played the Eagles. What the hell did I have on?
Eagles. Hey man, as long as you true to the game. Like if I'm going to a Raider game, I'm wearing a Bo Jackson jersey. I'm not gonna get jumped. I'm smart about it. It's game banging when you go to these games, man. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Right.
So, okay, well, it's funny that you say that because his better half knows the right gear to wear to a Rams game. She show up in a 49er jersey and dare someone to talk crazy to her. But this dude just can't make his mind.
49ers.
This dude can't make his mind. This is blasphemy.
And then here at the Coliseum, there's more 49er fans at the game than it was Rams fans.
Oh, wow. Come on, man. Kayla doesn't even cry anymore. Now I'm hearing crying from you. Stop it.
I would say this. It's okay to be a player fan. If that makes any sense.
Aaron Donald, my favorite player, and he plays for the enemy.
I have a Dickerson jersey. Dickerson was a poster on my wall. And for some reason, I wanted to wear goggles in a neck roll.
Please give us a picture. Playing
wide receiver with a neck roll
of the Anthony Dickerson Cobbs look. I have
goggles and elbow pads.
My favorite player
Jack Rabbit
on the Rams is Cup, and my wife has a Cooper Cup jersey.
Coop Cup.
Okay, all right, and then and then his favorite player is Cooper Cup. Introducing Anthony Cobbs, who is our guest co-host. He comes
blacker than black.
Thank you for coming. And then later skater donator Rodney Saucier decided to join us in favorite flight. It looks like a Philadelphia Eagles alternate T-shirt there.
Never.
Stand up.
Of us.
Okay.
It's not even a Jackrabbit shirt. What is that?
What is that?
Look like my,
is that Baton Rouge?
Green Bay Packers?
Baton Rouge?
Usually what that says at the bottom.
I cannot ride.
That's a reunion shirt.
We don't speak in hieroglyphics.
Long Beach.
Long Beach Poly. That's the wrong green, though. I couldn't tell.
I can't do that. I can't wear another team.
Hey, Rod, you should dry your shirts on low, bro. So we could have still seen that. You would have dried it on low.
I can't wear another team's apparel. There's only the teams that I stick with.
Hey, so when our guy Shay posted that picture the other day, I texted Rod. I didn't even say anything to Trey, but I texted Rod and I said, "You can't trust a motherfucker who can't figure out which team he gonna root for." and so I held this till today. I know the story, but my narrative is much funnier, Trey.
But check this out. The reason I was so happy is because
you made some money.
I bet the Rams money line. I didn't take the points. I bet a money line.
Let me let you know something, bro. They're gonna perform the same way with or without you wearing that hat. So you could have still bet on them without the hat.
He did. He did buy that hat, didn't he?
And you look so happy.
You went and got him a hat that fit.
And Shay said we in the post, and you let him because it looked like you helping him.
Well, he's a diehard Ram fan back from when we used to all pull for the Rams when Oz was on the team. He's a diehard since then.
Yeah. Speaking of Oz Hakeem and the Rams of those days, of which I was never a fan, my guy Mario Carroll is a big Rams fan, and he fell in love with them even more when they moved to St. Louis because he has Missouri roots. So he's not on social media or anything, but I just thought about him because you mentioned Oz Hakeem. So shout out to Mario Carroll. And shout out to Big Game Torrey Holt, since you're speaking of that squad.
I just mentioned that squad yesterday because somebody asked me, how do you stop Alabama? Remember when the New England Patriots mugged Oz Hakeem, Isaac Bruce, and Torrey Holt in the Super Bowl? Like, how are they going to stop the greatest show on turf? And I was like, mug them.
The defense.
You watch that game, those DBs, Ty Law, Otis Smith, they was grabbing. You guys as referees, how do you set the tone? If they first play of the game, they're grabbing and they pressing and real handsy. I think that's the only way you slow down Alabama. I was just like, well, I remember that game like it was yesterday. I had Rams to win by at least 20 points. But Belichick said, we're going to mug these dudes at the line of scrimmage and mess up the timing. And I was kind of like, the greatest show on turf, one day of the whole season, we're stopped in the
Well, I actually had the Raiders to win that Super Bowl, but oh boy, the Tuck rule. So hey, check this out, Trey. That is the one game in history, in NFL history that I actually bet on. I bet the Rams. I bet New England straight up. For whatever reason, I should have gotten points on that, but I bet them straight up. I bet 100. I don't even know what I won because it was online and I never even collected it. But the one time I bet it, I won.
Money still there.
The one time I bet. I didn't mean to say bet it. Oh my goodness.
UCLA education.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct yourself and say the one time I bet.
Everybody bet it a couple of times.
Bet it. I bet it.
All right, the Collective Podcast, episode 44. What up, what up? We don't have many of our normals, many of our usuals here right now. But hey, so we started off talking about Philly. I want to...
You got to rap, brother.
What'd you say?
You got to drop your bars.
Oh, I did it.
Oh, you did?
But I can do it again.
Well, Rodney got the second verse.
All right, go, Rod. Go.
Ooh, I don't have a second verse.
Oh.
When he said the ooh, I was you about to sing?
The Old Testament, Rod. Come on.
I was going to beatbox for him.
No.
From Ezekiel.
And you know what? Back to Philly real quick. What Cobbs was saying, you think they benched Hurts the last game, maybe just so he wouldn't get hurt because the game meant nothing, and that's going to be our starting quarterback next year?
Not a chance.
I think they benched him because he was going to win the game.
Yeah, that's right.
I think because
draft pick.
The play calling was so vanilla. I think he was 7 of 12 or something passing. He was not having a great passing game, but he kept running the ball and scoring.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe Peterson got a call from upstairs. Said, "Hey, man, on top of him possibly getting hurt and his value going down if he were to get hurt, and if we win this game, we gain nothing except some respect and our players feeling good about themselves for the offseason, looking forward. We don't really want to win this game. If we want to have those 3 draft pick spots ahead, we might go ahead and get a star player. Even though 3 picks don't mean much in the draft, I do believe it was a call from upstairs because it made no sense to pull him. He's a young guy. He's not going to get hurt. He's built like a tank. I think it was more of an idea of let's not ruin this opportunity. Eagles fans are going to be upset, win or lose. If we would have won the game, people would have been mad. We could have had a number 6 pick. Y'all get my pick. We came to lose, right? And then since we did lose, this is how you lose a game, Jets. You pull the guy that's playing well, so you don't win the game. The guy that put in the game, I mean, he looked like a practice squad player from a high school team. So I do believe it was not Peterson's call. I think it was something that came down in his earbud, and he made the decision that made no sense to anybody in the audience, anybody on TV, anybody online. It was a lot of stuff going on. I think he did that to try to save his job. Even though he did what he was told to do, he still got fired. So
yeah,
it's a lot going on.
Yeah, and we've seen that happen before, if that's the case. All right, moving on to teams still playing. All right, Saturday, we have Rams at Packers, Ravens at Bills. My sleeper in the AFC, still alive, Ravens. My Super Bowl champion pick, Seahawks, done. Done. One and done. I had to. So those of us that work for the Rams, what's up, Mac, Jimmy Mac? Those of us that actually work for the Rams have a group chat, and they're all actually Rams fans, and they know where I stand. So one guy texted me last week, right when the regular season ended, and said, "Hey, AC, I'm having a problem here. I'm trying to find the 49ers' next opponent, but I can't see who they play next week. Can you help me out?" So he was clowning, right? And so my response, yeah, we didn't make the playoffs, as you know, but congratulations on making it. Congratulations, you guys have now one playoff game and you'll be one and done. So I had to get ahead of it this week because they weren't one and done. And so I had to go before the game even ended and send them a congratulatory text, or else I look bad. So I had to say, congrats, Rams fans. But boy, am I disappointed in the Seahawks. And there's a big fallout from that. But we'll get to it shortly. Let's get our picks in for this week. So Rams at Packers. Who you guys have?
Packers.
Rams again.
So I think the Rams. Yeah.
So Cobbs, you
defense,
picked the Packers to win the Super Bowl, right?
Yep.
Okay. That means that Trey, you picked the Saints, right? Because I knew it was one of y'all had the Packers and one of you had the Saints, or was it just the Saints in the NFC?
I chose Kansas City.
But against who? Against the Saints?
You said what? No, against
who was the opponent
Seahawks.
you chose? Against the Seahawks. Okay, bless you, Rod. Who did you have, Rod?
I had the Saints.
You're the one that had the Saints. Okay. So my NFC pick absolutely gone. My AFC pick is the Chiefs, but my sleeper is the Ravens. They're both still there. Boy, do I feel bad. No, I don't feel bad. They have 6 Super Bowls, so I don't care about Pittsburgh. All right. I'm going with.
You don't feel bad for the Pittsburgh
team.
Do
I have to choose? I don't like either of these teams, but I still don't think the Rams can beat the Seahawks, and they already did. So obviously, I'm taking the Packers. All right, Ravens at Bills. I got the Ravens. Go.
I got the Bills because I think they want to see that matchup again.
You think what?
I took the Bills.
Because what?
Because
you said it because.
I think exactly. I think the gods want to see that Rams-Bills matchup.
Oh, I like how he changed that, Rod. He changed it to the gods because before that he was leaving it like he left it open-ended, like they want to. Don't do that, Trey. All right, I got the Ravens. Trey's got the Bills. What about you two?
I originally picked the Bills to represent the AFC, but the Ravens look great. I'm gonna stick with my pick because I picked them, but the Ravens look great. I mean, like Lamar Jackson is really playing on another level.
He's balling out.
He is balling
out.
Yeah, so the Ravens are my AFC B team as far as favorites, but I have the Bills representing the AFC in the whole deal. For some odd reason, this Josh Allen kid can do no wrong, and when he runs the rock, it's pretty effective. I'm a big Lamar Jackson fan, but I still think he has a hard time throwing to the outside. So if the Bills are smart, they'll make him throw that deep outside routes where that ball floats a little bit and try to contain him. If the Bills can contain, Lamar Jackson, I believe the Bills will win that game. But I wouldn't mind the Ravens, man. I would not mind the Ravens
Right.
getting to that game versus the Chiefs. And I'm
Me
jumping
either.
ahead. I'm jumping ahead. Carter, go ahead and move on to the next matchup.
Okay. Thank you. So Anthony Cobbs has the Chiefs over the Browns. Trey.
I don't know. I think this is a serious look ahead trap game.
Oh, they're gonna beat up on the Browns.
I
They're
don't
gonna beat
know.
up on them.
It's a trap
I
game.
had the Browns over the Chiefs.
Ooh.
Did you have the Browns over the Steelers? You probably did, actually.
Yeah. You know I don't.
That run game, man, because look at the blueprint is the Raider game. Run the football and play coverage. And that's what the Browns going to do.
And the Chiefs don't have great receivers. I mean, like if Travis Kelce gets hurt, or
he's not Anthony Davis. He's not going to get hurt off GP.
Right. One of the two.
Right. He said they got a chance because if he get hurt,
and one of them gets hurt, like they lose a lot. They really get hurt on Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce.
You see how many people be throwing to though?
Well, the Browns get both their starting cornerbacks back this week.
Yeah.
So that will help. Is it going to be cold? What's the weather like in Kansas City?
I think they just had tornado weather today.
Well, that doesn't mean cold. So
gusty winds. Yeah, that's not great for a passer. So if you got some serious wind going on, and Kareem Hunt.
Rodney, you might as well tell me that your GOAT is Pau Gasol. You're serious about this. All right, I don't have the Browns over the Chiefs by any means. I had the Steelers in what I felt was an upset because the Steelers looked so bad. But the Browns, speaking of tornadoes, there was a perfect storm for the Browns starting from the opening snap in that game. And I don't care who was out. They were up on adrenaline, and I think, and you don't hit 14-2 by accident. They've won every big game they've needed to win in the last 2 years, including against us in the Super Bowl. And this is all new for the Browns. I've got Kansas City big. And I don't think that and how about this? Speaking of cold, it'll be cold in Buffalo, but I don't think that's going to stop the Ravens. And I think the Chiefs are a very complete team. You talk about they don't have great receivers, but they have pretty good technique and they have a lot of speed. And I just, the Browns, they did make the playoffs and they did get that first win, but they might run out of energy at this point. But even if they don't, Chiefs just have too much.
Nick Chubb.
Did you already pick Trey?
Yeah, I said Chiefs all the way.
All right. Yeah. All right, cool. So, and then the showdown of the people of two of the three people that we can't stop hearing about. Tom Brady.
It's the old man bowl.
Breeze. What do you guys have?
Saints
Bucks on the road.
I'm going with the old.
I don't think Tampa Bay can recover from the last time they played the Saints. When the Saints won them by like 40 points at halftime or something.
Okay.
Like that sticks with you. Like we're just they gonna do a James Harden. We're just not good enough.
Going with the old quarterback? Well, they both got old quarterbacks, so that doesn't narrow things down. I've got them Saints, man. I just know that the Bucks just ran through a NFC East team in the Washington team, and that's not a good setup game for a tough game. You play a powder puff and you come and play a hard team, your team is usually a little bit lax. So I think Cam Jordan and them going to put pressure on Tom Brady. I think Drew Brees playing with Mike Thomas last week really helped. I do believe Kamara is ready for another blow-up game. So I got the Saints over the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Antonio Brown versus Des Bryant, right?
Nah, Mike Thomas.
Where's Des Bryant?
Des Bryant is on the Ravens.
Oh, he's on the Ravens. That's right. Okay, I was thinking he was on the Saints. All right. No, I wasn't talking. I was specifically talking about the old heads that found a new team. I'm not talking about Mike Thomas. All right. So
The makeup bowl.
I don't. My mom is from New Orleans, right? When we were all growing up, they were called the Aints and that whole thing. And
Who that?
I know that my grandfather was super pumped. I don't talk to him, but he was super pumped, I'm sure, when they won that Super Bowl following Hurricane Katrina. And I don't like anything that they're about. I don't like the whole Bounty Gate, all of that. I do like Greg Williams, interestingly enough, although he's not there.
You don't like Greg. He's the orchestrator of it.
I don't like Sean Payton.
He was the 31.
I respect him. I don't like Drew Brees. I respect him. And I don't care. I'm taking the Saints. I'm taking the Chiefs. I'm taking the Ravens in an upset. And I'm taking the Packers. And so I only have the Ravens in an upset. All right, cool. Who else is picking? Buccaneers or Saints?
Saints. I got them to win the whole thing. The makeup ball.
You said what?
Who you betting on?
Saints.
All right. So Trey, your bet this week, your line, your ticket is Saints, Chiefs,
Bills,
Rams. Oh, Saints, Chiefs, Bills, Rams.
Yep.
All right. Let's see what Jimmy Mack has. Jimmy Mack has the Rams, the Ravens. All right. So he's got Saturday upsets and Sunday holds. Okay. All right, cool. Damien, you got picks? You with us? You can send them over. All right, so that's what we got in the NFL. Cool. I'm still going with Kansas City to win it all, with the Ravens as a backup. Absolutely. Let's stay on the NFL, and let's talk about Anthony Cobb's godbrother about to get another job, but now in the NFL. Tell me what's going on with Urban Meyer in Jacksonville.
That's my godbrother.
What is happening?
If he is my godbrother, I hope let me hold something when he get this paycheck. I don't know. I really don't have any. I'm more surprised he's going NFL and not staying college, because NFL will be, I think, a different feel as far as the pressure of winning and winning with grown men and dealing with grown men. Being a very experienced college coach with success everywhere he's been, I think he would have got a lot more respect from the first day on the job if he had taken the SC job or Texas or wherever else he was being recruited to come coach. But an NFL job, as we saw many of NFL failures from the college ranks, and Nick Saban and other college coaches that tried it real quick and went right back to college, because you don't get first round draft picks every year as far as 5-star recruits. So I'm wondering what's the motive behind him coming to the NFL and a job like Jacksonville where he's not going to win. Yes, you get the first pick. You probably get to pick Trevor Lawrence, which to me is not even a home run Peyton Manning type guy. They say he is, but I didn't see it in the 3 years he played at Clemson. He just had a great team. He was being shielded by all the players that were playing around him. So I think Urban Meyer is going to take a 5-year deal and probably coach 3 and retire because of health. So, I'll be waiting to see what happens. I don't think it's going to make a big difference. Just the NFL is different than the college game.
Yeah. Shout out to John Calipari. He learned that too. What do you say, Rod?
You know what? I think he's probably just escaping the fact that he keeps throwing people on probation. He just doesn't want to. He doesn't want to go back to that, knowing that he can't
win without cheating.
Do it without the extras. So, I'm sure they're probably giving him a great payday. I don't know the details of the deal, but they're probably paying him like he's won 3 Super Bowls already.
Yep.
Just based on his name, even though he hasn't done anything in NFL. So that's normally what happens when we see this type of thing happen.
Yeah, and that's a huge jump, man. Like when you're coaching college kids, they come in and they respect you so much because they're their first scholarship. They come in, they want to learn this, that, and other. When that coach goes to an NFL team, you got to get the players to respect you. Mm-hmm. And if you don't, that can be tough sometimes. And personalities, and just think if you're stepping into a team as a first-time coach and you got AB on your team. You might not know how to handle that.
Your favorite.
Yeah, AB look like a piece of work, Jack. Bruce Arians probably tell AB first day, look here, player.
Right.
You know, Bruce Arians is a tough cat. So
Yeah.
that's the only reason why it's working up here.
What you got, old man Rod?
Hey man, you know, especially with today's player, Trey is right. It's hard to make those players buy in now. You know, really hard.
I think that's kind of why those who are successful, the Belichick's, the Sean Paytons, those guys have the respect because of the track record and guys recognize game, like Bill Parcells, and even in the NBA when you had Chuck Daly and Phil Jackson. These big ego guys need somebody with a bigger ego. They just need it. And a lot of times when you're trying to start a team from scratch, you have Stefanski, who just got lucky with lightning in the bottle in Cleveland. He had a great year. Who knew that was going to work out in Green Bay? Who knew that it was going to work out with Aaron Rodgers and you know, his coach? You never know. You're just trying. And I think that's might be why there aren't any black coaches. But they know if it don't work out, we're going to have to fire him and keep paying him. I need to become a head coach because if they're going to fire me, you got to still pay me. Exactly. I think it's a good deal because you get paid. When you get fired, you still get paid. That's a good deal.
That's a good.
Yeah.
That's a good deal right there.
You keep getting fired. Fire me. I'll go be a coordinator somewhere.
We just hit a milestone. So I need to be clear. Rodney just told Trey he was right in the sports conversation. So I just want to take my hat off to Trey for
being right.
And rising up, you know.
You're funny. This is not the first time.
No, but you don't really hand it out like that, Rod. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. It's momentous because you said it. Any chance for Raheem Moore to stay in place in Arthur Blank's land?
Ooh, I wish he was a Raider, and we didn't hire him. I wish
Raheem
he
Morris,
was a Raider.
not Moore. You wish he was a Raider?
Yeah, the Raiders interviewed him and went with some other guy's defensive coordinator.
You wish he was a Raider defensive coordinator?
Yeah.
I'm talking about head coach.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
Are you talking about this offseason or in the past? You're saying this offseason or in the past they interviewed him?
No, just a week or two ago. They just
why is he interviewing for defensive coordinator jobs? Is he not up for the job?
I don't know.
And they didn't hire him?
No, they hired some goofy guy that I've never heard of.
Okay. All right. Morris, Cobbs, yes, no. Does he have a chance?
I say yes, because when all the guys they have on their list are gone, they do usually stay in house with whoever the kid, well, not keep saying kids, whoever the guys on the squad. They might bring in a couple captains and say, who should we stay? Who you guys want? And the way things are looking, man, like I said, if the Eagles end up with Deuce Staley, it won't be a loss. So if you stay with Raheem Morris, at least you have familiarity with the team. So it's a puncher's chance.
Okay.
I'm just mad the Eagles are interviewing Kellen Moore from the Cowboys. I don't know what's going on now.
Okay. Well, speaking of calling in your captains and asking what they think, that's clearly what doesn't happen in Houston. So what are our thoughts? What are our thoughts there? You know, obviously Watson is disgruntled. Gus Bradley. Oh, okay. I know who Gus Bradley is. What's up, Dietrich? What's up with the Houston Texans, guys? Are they going to right this ship, and who are they hiring?
Blow it up. If I'm Deshaun Watson, I'm out of there, man.
I'm trying to leave.
I'm gonna pull a James Harden and just act a fool. Come in there fat, just talking crazy, throwing bad passes.
Oh, so Shaquille, You're gonna be Shaquille. Okay.
No, James Harden. James Harden just came in there.
Well, you think came in out of shape, throwing bad passes.
But Shaquille wasn't trying to leave. Shaquille just came in fat off GP. James Harden was trying to get released. And I believe Kyrie was the mastermind of the whole deal. Kyrie said, look here, man. I'm going to act a nut. You come in the cap fat. And KD, you just ball out like you the only piece that got some sense. Trust me, it's going to work. I don't know what Deshaun Watson can do to get up out of there. I don't know what the Texans are doing. When they had 1B, 1A receiver in the league, and you let them go for a bag of chips.
I don't understand that. I still don't understand that. Yeah, it's not like you traded him for Mookie. Like, who they even trade him for?
Like, by the way, to put Mookie in there, right?
You let him go.
They traded him for David Johnson, Arizona running back.
Who?
David Johnson. I had him in fantasy 2 years ago. He gave me like 10 points for the whole season off of.
He had one great year, and they put him as like one of the top backs, and then he got to Houston and did absolutely nothing.
They already had Hopkins.
Running backs are dime a dozen, man. They always get hurt.
It's obvious that Houston doesn't like players who speak out. We're starting to see a pattern that players who speak out against what they stand for, which we know because their owner was very vocal during the Black Lives Matter movement, during the kneeling movement. He has some issues with players.
McNair. So
go ahead and say it.
So Andre Johnson, from the U, spoke out and
told Deshaun to get out of there, man. And I think that was strategic. That Andre Johnson being the only guy in Houston Texans history that has been honored in the Ring of Honor for that team as a new franchise would say something. He ain't said nothing over his whole career. He's been a quiet leader and well respected, all pro. And he finally says something. I believe this was an attempt to help Deshaun get up out of there. So shout out to, brothers being brothers and standing by each other. I think that's an attempt to get him a little bit more leverage to go ahead and force a trade. They're not going to let him walk, but they got to do something.
Yes. And I concur with Anthony Cobbs, as I do a lot of times. And I love that Andre Johnson did that. And then even Hopkins came back and responded to that. He said, when Dre speak, listen. I'm just saying, interesting. So we have a Jacksonville opening, which is about to close. We have a Chargers opening. We have an Atlanta opening. Let's talk about that. So I say Raheem Morris, but let's talk about the fact that this buffoon, and I don't have his name right now, but one of my sports journalist colleagues is out there saying that Eric Bieniemy doesn't interview well, and that the Falcons told him so. And that whole thing, and that he's not interviewing well, and that's why no one's pulled the trigger on him. And the Falcons came back infuriated and said that he's very much still in the mix. What do you guys have any thoughts on that? We don't have to belabor the point, but I just want to touch on it.
Plenty. Do you hire somebody because they know what to say during questioning, or do you hire them because they know football? That's the thing. They're hiring all these guys who interview well, who don't know anything about football. And it shows when they get the job.
I don't know how Adam Gase interviewed, but I'm pretty sure his eye contact alone would have freaked me out. Because one of the things I teach my students on my job is eye contact. And especially during the Zoom era, you better not be looking like AC Carter right now. I don't care if Eric Bieniemy is ghetto as all get out, man. He come in there crip rocking or something. I don't know what he's doing, but I heard he good. He hood. He a real cat, and he's not going to sugarcoat. My thing is, can he lead men in an NFL environment? He does not have to have a BA or a doctorate. He needs to know football. He doesn't even have to be a genius when it comes to calling plays. I know Andy Reid's calling the plays. He just holding the title of offensive coordinator because he has the other clipboard. But he got the respect of the team. And I think anybody that comes into a new organization, that's first and foremost. Do the guys believe in you and what you spitting? And then I'm pretty sure Bieniemy's like, look here, I ain't the smartest man in the world, but I know football. What we gonna do with X, Y, and Z? And I think that's what you want. I wouldn't mind Bieniemy coming to Philly. I wouldn't mind Bieniemy going to San Diego. He needs to go somewhere where as a team is not from scratch. It's just some dudes that got some skill and just need an identity. I think Bieniemy does that for a lot of people. I think the Falcons, or whoever is turning their nose up to Bieniemy because he's ghetto, is going to miss out on a leader. And I just know that it's a shame that they go and bring up what he did when he was 20 years old as a red flag that he might be hood or he has a questionable character. I believe he spent 10 years in Kansas City for a reason because he wants to be a head coach, and I think it's time for him to get a shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, don't mess around and miss out on like Allen Iverson.
Man,
he's hood. He don't interview well. He don't talk well. He don't do nothing. But hey, you put him out on that court.
All heart.
All heart. Yeah.
I mean, but exactly the point. Like, think about that. If you had to give, the Wonderlic to some of these guys,
and you don't pass
they're
it.
like, hey, let's give it to Bobo over here. He's scoring one just to sign his name, but that's it.
Well, look at Lamar Jackson last week. Lamar, reporter said, "I'm Mike Jones from the Inquirer." He said, "Who? Mike Jones? Who?"
But
that's a quarterback.
It's the same comparison with the coaches. Like some of these quarterbacks, they score off the charts on the Wonderlic, and they get in the game.
Can't think.
They don't know man from zone. Basic stuff.
Carson Wentz? Oh.
Carson Wentz can still play. He just can't play in Philly.
He can't play.
Okay. It was a question. There was a question mark. All right. So listen.
Before we skip, I mean, I just want you guys to just pay attention to this real quick. They traded the best receiver, one of the best receivers in the league, early in the season. Deshaun Watson still had 4,800 yards passing. He had 33 touchdowns and 7 interceptions and 112.4 passer rating.
Yeah, that's the O'Brien system. That's not the quarterback. I'm joking.
That dude is out of this world. And he doesn't get talked about in the same breath with other quarterbacks, which is a shame.
Yeah. Well,
I wonder why.
The worst coaches ever. And Bill, what's his name? Bill O'Brien.
O'Brien.
Yeah, terrible.
So let's talk about it. We've never talked about this because this podcast is just under a year old, and we haven't had a chance to talk about my deep-rooted respect for the great advisor to the Arizona State University Sun Devils football program. And what do you guys think about the potential for him to return to coaching this year? I would imagine that the way that I've set it up, Cobbs knows who I'm talking about, and maybe just him. So I'll just cut to the chase. Marvin Lewis.
Well, Marvin Lewis did a lot with little in Cincinnati. I would love to see him do something with the organization that actually cares about football. He got a bad rap because he was there for so long and they didn't win. But just imagine they were making them guys buy their own Gatorade. Like they were a bottomed organization as far as resources and making the players stay and feel welcome. That was where you went to lose to like die as a football player. Yeah. So he was getting all the rejects. He was getting all the guys in their last chance. He was getting all the guys that nobody wanted, the thugs, so to speak. And he did decent. I mean, they were not a laughing stock every year. He did the best he could. So I would love to see Marvin Lewis get another shot. If Jason Garrett can get another shot, Marvin Lewis needs another shot.
They were. He got all the players like used to be the old Portland Trailblazers.
He was bad, man.
Well, think about the players he had on one team. Ray Maalaga, Pac-Man Jones, more players on the defense and the offense who routinely got in trouble on other teams.
Mm-hmm.
Routinely. And they didn't miss a beat with him, except the idiot personal fouls in the playoffs that cost him a win.
Yeah.
The linebacker that came to the Raiders from Cincinnati.
Vontaze Burfict.
Right. You got all three of those guys on the same team. He can coach, man. He needs another shot. If you can coach those three players alone on one team, you're good.
Yeah, he was probably spending most of his energy just
putting fires out.
Yeah, putting fires out, keeping the peace.
Right. He just put it like this. I think Marvin Lewis is Mike Tomlin. If he had an opportunity that Mike Tomlin had coming into a stable organization that's going to give him a chance to win in a longer period than 3 years, I think he would have been as decent as Mike Tomlin. He ain't won 10 Super Bowls. He won, 2? And that's what a good coach will do in a 10-year span is, have you in the dance every year, depending on injuries, depending on circumstances. Marvin Lewis would have been as good as Mike Tomlin as far as a coach is concerned, because Mike Tomlin has been putting out fires. Apparently, he had AB for 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bam. Here,
coach get another shot, Joe?
What'd you say?
Do the Chargers coach get another shot?
Yeah, I believe that, but I'd like to hear what you guys think. Hell yeah.
Coordinator, probably. They're not going to give him a head coaching job off the bat.
They won't give him one now, but they do that with others. But he's black, so. But I think his head coaching tenure hasn't run its course.
But they're gonna do him like Romeo Cornell. I think they're gonna give Anthony Lynn the same treatment they gave Romeo Cornell. It was like, yeah, we gave you a shot and look what you did. You had talent and you weren't successful. So Unfortunately, it's gonna be a while.
And what's crazy? Over 2 years, you could probably take 65 points and he'd still have a job because all 8 games was close. Mm-hmm. You could probably take 65 points and he'd still have his job.
Well, you know what I was saying. Like they lost so many one possession games just this year.
That's crazy. Yeah, over 2 years, you could probably take 65 points. You doing playback?
I'm like, wait, is Trey saying it again? Hold on.
But the media can make or break you. Every time it came down to the end of the game, they questioned his play calling. Right. Every single time. He doesn't know anything.
He's stopping it from playing back, but he keeps playing back. All right. I'm trying to reply to Damien. All right, go ahead, Joe. Detroit.
Hey, see, I'm gonna give Mac my spot. I gotta go to a meeting at 1. Let's see.
I sent him the link.
All right, let me make sure he's gonna do it.
Tell him I sent it in Messenger.
All right.
I say Detroit, Damien. I mean, I just like for him to go wherever, but Marvin Lewis could go to Detroit. Why not? They care about football.
But he'll lose again. I want him to go somewhere he can win.
Well, I'm just,
16 years, playoff 7 times in 5. He was there for 16 years? Good Lord. Yeah. I didn't realize he was there that long.
Hey, but we have to remember that one play changed everything. When the former Bengal went straight at Carson Palmer's knees and took him out. They were the best team in the NFL that year.
They were.
And
hands down.
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree that Anthony Lynn would be the scapegoat and also not get a chance to coach this Justin Herbert. But that's why I'm hoping, okay, so now he's a scapegoat, he's gone, he's out. And by the way, it's so funny how he wound up coaching anyway. Like, this is all because of Bill Parcells. It's crazy. It's crazy how he wound up coaching. But I'm hoping that he does get another shot at head coaching soon. There's so many times that these guys get one shot and they're done, and all these other guys get remixed. remixed.
Don't bring up that privilege topic again. That's all we're talking about when you talk about that. Is that we know what's going on and we see it, and we get less opportunities and less leash, so to speak. But again, Adam Gase, prime example.
My goodness, Adam Gase.
If he ever gets another job, I mean,
Oh, he will. He will. He'll lay low for one season. Maybe even go to an analyst job, and then come back and be on the top of the list somewhere.
I don't get it, man. I don't know.
If he interviews well.
There he is, my man. UCLA track team relay race. I'm running out of gas. Stick. I hand it to Jimmy, and I give it to the anchor, man. I'll holler at y'all brothers, man. I got a meeting.
All right, be safe.
Peace out.
Peace out, AC.
Yes, sir.
Jimmy Matt, what you're the school record holder in what, the 55?
55 meters, and it'll never be broken because they don't run that race no more.
Hey, shout out to Jimmy Mack, who is another guest co-host, our favorite guest co-host, Jimmy Mack of the Sucker Punch podcast, and also of 1585, also of UCLA. So go Bruins once again. Jimmy Mack is joining us. If you're looking at the comments, he is Jim McElroy the fourth on Facebook, and we were talking about the NFL. I was about to transition to the NBA, but if you want to speak on anything before we go, yeah.
No, go ahead and go to the NBA.
All right. So
even though my wife said I should be talking about why Bieniemy don't have a job yet, but I'm gonna not listen to her for right now because I know y'all gotta move on.
Speak about it. What's her take, or what is your take that you are shielding from us?
My take is that, and I hate to say this, man, I think he's just too black. I mean, I hate to say that. I mean, from what I've heard of Eric Bieniemy and the type of person he is, man, he's unapologetically black, man. He's gonna go. You know you're dealing with a black man. He's gonna be confrontational at times. He's gonna tell you the truth. He's gonna be honest with his players, and I think some of the GMs and owners think that might be a little bit too abrasive for some of these spoiled players nowadays. Like, oh man, he's on my case again, and they might not respond well. I don't think it has anything to do with interviewing. I mean, what are we asking in a football interview? I hope we're asking X's and O's. I hope we're asking about what things that you're going to be doing to lead a better culture in the locker room. I hope they're not like, so what are your financial planning? Like, what do you plan on doing for us financially? I hope they're not talking about those type of things. I hope they're talking all business.
You don't think they're asking about his fundraising acumen? I mean, how many Girl Scout cookie boxes can you sell?
Exactly. I don't know what I mean. I don't care how you tone it or voice it. If you know what to look for, and I think that's part of the problem. There's a lot of people at that high level, they don't know sports. They're just people who know business, and they're thinking about business. They're not thinking about sport. You got to get people in there that know the sport, that know that winning. Put like this: the Patriots before Belichick was a fringe, all right franchise. They had made a couple of Super Bowls, got their butts kicked in both those Super Bowls, but they wasn't. Belichick came in. He's the GM. He's the coach. He knew football. He ran it like a football team, and that's why they were so successful. It wasn't a business to him. I want to every year put out the best football product, and that's why he was the way he was with Brady. That's why he's the way he was with players. Like, hey, you're Asian out of here. You got to go before you hit the skids. Bye. I'm gonna bring in somebody new that's young and just as talented as you, and we're gonna keep this train running. He didn't let emotions get in his way. He didn't let jersey sales and what butts we put in the stands. He figured winning was gonna put butts in the stands. Right. That's what the owners need to be doing.
Yeah, that part. I need somebody to give him a shot, and I need him to be able to show that he can perform, and he needs a real shot. Like he needs if he gets a turnaround project, then he needs the actual opportunity to turn it around. He needs to go somewhere where they're actually going to give him the resources required to do what he needs to do. And I would say to owners, if you're listening, I know you're probably not, but if you are, like, because Spanos did send me, like the whole Spanos family sent me Christmas cards, so maybe they are listening. And I got a whole bunch of Chargers gear yesterday. I got 3 T-shirts and a hoodie. So maybe they are listening. I don't know. But here's the thing. Give him the resources Give him a chance. And right now, you can't put anybody in the stands anyway. So let him work on that project and get that thing turned around.
Yeah.
All right.
And
they only have 7 fans, and all of them are grandchildren.
if you do any interviews, you got that 2-second delay, so you can always edit.
No. Man. All right. So NB Association. I want to talk about the standings and the state of the NBA, but let's start with James Wardell Harden the First, aka the Beard.
AKA Flash from the 5 Heartbeats.
Since he's been there, we know James Harden, he can score on anybody, man. He can score. He can give you a 30-piece so fast. And
with the 5-step drop.
And he's been averaging this season probably like 16, 17 points, something like that. I don't think he's been scoring too much. But when they played the Lakers, the last game, and he went to the hole and AD smacked both of those shots, he literally smacked it like he would smack a little kid shot. I said, oh, James Harden don't want to be there. He's out of there. Next couple of games, he's going to be out of there. And woke up the next morning and he was gone. But he was just playing with no effort at all. But I mean, if a player doesn't want to be somewhere, you got to let him go. Because the players control their own destiny these days. You know what I mean? Anybody, like if you give one of us $50 million a year to extend any kind of contract for 2 years, we gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
You don't need money. He wasn't happy. He know he can get that $50 million a year anywhere else. You got to get what you can get for him. And he didn't seem like a player that would sit there and put his all into it if he didn't want to be there, because then you risk injury. And if you get hurt, then you know what I mean? You're just sitting on the sideline with no contract. So he wasn't playing hard, man. But yeah, I still wouldn't have got my shot smacked like that. I'd have just said I don't want to play.
Well, he did say I don't. Well, that's what happened after the game. I don't want to play. Right? This is too hard. This is difficult. I can't. All the things that I don't allow Kayla to say. And you got this grown man with this grown beard with this stuff.
It was funny when they literally locked him out of practice. Like he showed up, and I heard they were like, "Yeah, you're not welcome in the building."
Yeah, well,
I don't blame him. I'd have did the same thing.
Right.
I wouldn't let him in the building.
Oh, I thought you were saying you don't blame him. Thank you for clarifying. Okay.
No, I wouldn't have let him in the building. I mean, if I was, I'm one of those people. I'll be petty with this. Yeah, you're gonna get your money anyway. But I guarantee you, I'm not trading you, and I don't care if you don't show up and don't play. We will fine you up the yin yang when you don't show up. I'll tell the coach to sit your butt on the bench, pay you like 5 minutes a game. In some games, you're gonna get some DNPs. You did not participate. I'm just not gonna let you pout and get your way. You know, we spend a lot of money, and we want this franchise to be successful. And if you gave your all, this franchise could be successful. But because you don't have your way, like I'd rather have LeBron. You know, I'd rather have KD, but I got you. So, you know, if you want to act this way, we're going to all play hardball. We'll get them young guys some playing time. You're going to get your money, but you're going to be sitting on that bench. I ain't going to let you go somewhere else and thrive. I'm not going to let you go somewhere else and be successful. You'll sit down on the bench. If we go down, you're going to go down too. You're not going to go somewhere and be rewarded for bad behavior. That's just how I would have did it. I'm not going to play. I would play super hardball with him. Either you going to shape up or we not shipping you out. You'll sit on the end of that bench and then you'll deal with it. It ain't like we getting fans in the stands anyway. Ain't like we filling up seats because of you.
Right.
Sit your butt down now.
And here's the thing. Harden's a great player, and people have thought that they wanted to play with Harden, and they go play with him for 1 year, and then they want out. So now what is he going to do over there with Kyrie, who already got 1 foot in the door when he wants to, and KD? Like, You know what I mean? James Harden wants to take those last second shots. He wants all those shots. Guess what? If KD's on your team, you're not getting those shots.
So I have a 2-part question for you, Trey, and it can lead to all three of you. But is he a great? So 2-part question. I guess I have 2 questions. I'm sorry. Is he a great player, Trey, or a great scorer? And I don't know if I said A or 1, but 2 or B. Is Kyrie still a superstar? Okay, go.
First, yes, he's a great player because he's a top player in the NBA. He does lack defense, but so do other great players. You know what I mean? Steph Curry.
Does he lack defense or is he allergic to defense? Because there's a difference.
He gets a steal.
He's allergic.
He gets a steal here and there. He'll take a charge here and there. You know what I mean?
Accident. Only by accident.
Y'all can't get out of the way. Well, let me let you answer. Go ahead.
Y'all too hard on the man. Like,
no, I'm asking. I'm not commenting. I'm asking.
Right. He could be a way better defensive player. And if he played defense the way that he plays offense, or at least put the effort and the heart into it. And
did he be Kobe? That's a lot to ask. Stop.
You don't have to be the best defensive player, but show me that you're trying.
Yeah.
And that will make you that much of a better player. But when you don't try, you let the man go by you and score and then be like, yo, ball, to go up and take another shot. It's like, eh. But
wait, before you answer the second part, let me comment on what Cobbs is saying. So for our listeners, Nets will be lacking leadership and defensive identity when it counts. Give me the field. Well, here's my response to that, Anthony. I don't think they'll be lacking leadership because they have a whole bunch of co-coaches on that team. You got Steve Nash, you got Kevin Durant, you got Kyrie Irving. Now you have James Harden. I don't think they let LeVert be a co-coach anyway. So you got potential Hall of Fame players that are co-coaches. So that's a lot of leadership. Might be leading them in the wrong direction, but that's a lot of leadership. All right, go ahead, Trey. Finish.
So yeah, he's a great player. Now Kyrie.
And it's no shot at any of them. I'm just
it's not a shot. I'm just trying to really answer the Kyrie. I've never put Kyrie in the superstar conversation like the Kobe, LeBron, KD, Steph. He's never been in that conversation for me. He's more of a partner, like a second team. You know what I mean? Like he'll make the All-Stars, but he won't be starting in the All-Stars as an All-Star. You know what I mean? He's like one of those players. He's great, and he can handle the rock like no other. But yeah, I wouldn't make him like a mega star. Like if you can't build a team around Kyrie. You know what I mean? He can't be your go-to guy, and
he's probably not going to show up to work. So of course he's not going to finish this.
And I'm just trying to keep it to the basketball because you know what I mean. I don't know him off the court, so I don't know what he's going through or none of that stuff. It's a reason he's not coming to the games or whatever. But then when you hear him speak, he's so well-spoken. He knows how to fluff and not answer questions.
So you're saying he's a good interview?
Yeah, he can give a great interview. Right?
Oh.
He can give a great interview, man. I just hope everything work out for Kyrie, man, and he's safe. And I think, and does the team know where he is? Yes, they know where he is, and they've heard from him. Steve Nash, when he was asked, so do you know where Kyrie is? And he was like, nope, haven't heard from him. Yeah, you heard from him.
Well, here's the thing. They're co-coaches, so he probably just checked in with Kevin Durant.
Right, he texts KD.
Like, yo, coach. Or in fact, if he's a co-coach, he doesn't have to check in at all.
Exactly.
Probably told the GM where he was.
Like he had to sign the trade paperwork for Allen.
Yeah. All right. So you guys weigh in on the superstar thing. Yay or nay for Kyrie Irving?
I'll let Matt
I'm gonna
go
go. I'm gonna go no, and the reason why I would never put Kyrie in the superstar. Everywhere he's gone, besides at Cleveland, they didn't have a winning season while he was the lead dog, and he missed a lot of games. He's always injured, and soon they got LeBron back. That's when his profile went up. Kyrie's like hamburger helper. You know what I'm saying? He ain't the main attraction. He helps out because when he left Boston or when he got hurt at Boston, they were better. When he left Boston, they were better. Last year, when he got hurt, the Nets got better. You know, as a team with chemistry and wise like that. He's not a leader. He's a guy who brings make highlight plays. But at the end of the day, I don't think those guys are willing to, jump in the foxhole with him. I don't see him that way. So I think that Kyrie is a guy who's always good as a second row on a team, not the.
Yeah, you nailed it. He's exciting. He's exciting, and he's going to get you the highlights. But I'm tripping off what Cobb said. He said Steve Nash is going to have to coach. Like, hey, are you hungry? Man, I'm hungry, not hungry. He's going to have to coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. He's going to have to coach. That's funny. Yeah.
Rod.
All right. So,
Rod was ready for this one. Go ahead, Rod. Did you get your Legal Hustle hoodie yet?
No, it's coming today.
Okay. All right, cool.
According to the reports on ESPN, no one's heard from Kyrie, but people close to him say that he has an issue with the Nets.
Yeah.
He doesn't like the Steve Nash hiring. He doesn't like the fact that they traded for James Harden without coming to him first.
He wasn't there.
And a long list of other things that he's got issues with. All of them are exactly the same mentally. You ever see these people who you can tell they're extremely intelligent and like parts of the things that they say are true, but then if you're not paying close enough attention, they'll slip something in there and you'd be like, man, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, like when TreVon Hopson wears 2 different NFL shirts in the same week. Extremely intelligent, but what the hell are you doing? Yeah, Rod. I've seen that. I know what you're talking about.
Or like bruh man told Martin, hey man, yeah, I borrowed your CD player. You didn't get the note on that. He said, why would you leave it under the bathroom sink? Because I used all your toilet paper. Like it makes no sense to anyone but him. They are all like that. They're all super emotional. They all can score, but they don't bring any kind of intangibles to the game.
Okay.
None of the three. When, as Jimmy Mack says, they have to be that top dog. They don't bring any intangibles to the game that could get them over the hump. And I've said it before. Nowadays, there's a difference between a max player and a franchise player. They are not franchise players. What we used to have as franchise players were max players who checked all the boxes. They fill the seats. They top defenders, top scorers, top players in the league. That was only limited to people like Michael Jordan, limited to people like Shaq, limited to people like Magic. It wasn't given out to everyone. And so now there's this conception that this player must be great because he's got a max salary. But the status of the max salary has changed because now it's based on market value, what other teams are willing to give you. It's not based on what you bring to the table. That's why I'm one that personally hates when they compare these new players to older generation players. These players are straight up spoiled. I mean, like AC, you and I talked about this yesterday or the day before yesterday. I would love to see the game cleaned up before all of the jump off, the stuff that I can't even read in our rule books, where it says you can jump off one and land on 2 feet and not put this other foot down to the ground. I read that stuff in the rule books, but I need to see it. I'm visual. But they've created loopholes to do all of that stuff in the NBA. And those are things that previous players couldn't do. They just had, I mean, even the definition of an assist is different. Like prior to this new era, you couldn't put the ball on the floor and the person who passed it to you get an assist. Your pass had directly lead to a basket. And so all the definitions are changed. And so the players themselves get this skewed idea that they're on the same level as the players who did it prior. But the players who did it prior, every single one of them, always over the summer, worked on some weakness of their game and came back stronger the next year. Always. You don't see that now. So these players now, they look great their rookie year, and they continue to look the exact same for 10 years straight. They don't do anything different, except we got no defense, so we can't tell. And Kyrie is great for the product that we're putting out there today, but in terms of overall greatness, he's not great. We'll get more Kyries. We'll get more James Hardens, especially when you got zone defense in the NBA. So great player, I wouldn't say that. I would say great offensive player or great scorer, yes. But that's for me. I mean, you know, people throw Steph Curry out there on defense, but Steph Curry at least makes an effort.
Yes.
Steph Curry plays on both ends. He does what he can do. And for the most part, besides when he's matched up against Damian Lillard or somebody elite, he does a pretty good job. But James Harden doesn't even try. Like I said, sometimes he gets a charge just by being that second defender who's actually sleeping, and someone runs into him that he doesn't even see coming. You know, and he gets a stat for it, but it's not because he was trying to do it, because it just kind of happened. But yeah, man, this whole team is just super dysfunctional. And meanwhile, Silas has to be down there. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm ranting because this stuff pisses me off.
Yeah, indeed. Did you give us an answer on Kyrie?
Yes, he's not a superstar to me. No.
Okay. All right, cool. So Anthony Cobbs says that he is a superstar. He's just not a guy that can carry a squad. He can sell tickets, jerseys, and sneakers. So this goes back to the clutch argument with Anthony Cobbs and Jimmy Mack from last week, where we kept talking about the definition of clutch matters, you know, because certain people were saying that Steph wasn't clutch, and I was saying that he was. And if you narrow it down to, he had to hit a game-winning shot in the last 24 seconds, if that's your only definition for clutch, then no, he's not clutch. But then you could say that Alex Caruso is, which is nuts because he's hit a game winner just by accident because somebody kicked it out to him. Not saying that he's actually clutch, but it's all about definitions, right? So if we say, without a definition, but if we say Jason Tatum is a superstar, then okay, I buy that Kyrie Irving is a superstar. If we say other people in that class, and I don't mean year class, but I mean that class of player are superstars, then okay, I can go with Kyrie being one. But back to the original point, I'm not going to build my team around Kyrie. And he may be exciting, but I don't know. I'm just not convinced that he's the answer. So it'll be really interesting to see, first of all, if he even goes back to the Brooklyn Nets. If he does, it'll be interesting to see the chemistry. Like Cobb said, he'll have to coach, and Nash will have to coach. And when he's already, allowing people to say that he's only a co-coach, I don't know if you can co-coach as a co-coach. I mean, coach as a co-coach. So it'll be very, very interesting. They're already saying that it's a super team, but as I've told you guys many times before, not only 3 players does a super team make. You need more than that. And, I don't know. With the exception of Harden, you do have championships on that team when it comes to those superstars. But I don't want to see James Harden ever get to shave that beard. And he's from LA. I just don't want to get to see him ever. I don't want him to ever get to shave it. And he says he won't shave it until he wins. So maybe that's why he fought so hard to get out of Houston, because he wants to shave. I don't know.
Let me tell you something. And now they got rid of all that. They small. They small now. You know what I mean? They let their big guys go. They're not going to get a rebound now, so they better shoot 100%.
He's a stat chaser.
And
he doesn't want to win. Winning takes sacrifice.
Mm-hmm. Of the 3, James Harden is the most durable, because the other guys have been oft injured. And obviously Durant is very, very frail, not Anthony Davis frail. He could be, but Anthony Davis, as Rodney calls him, a feather could put him out for the season. But I don't know. That's just not a durable super team, as they call it. So we'll see what happens. And then let's throw in a couple comments from Damian from a few minutes ago. None of them are willing to sacrifice to elevate each other. Just talking about pure talent. But what are you doing to make your teammates better? And that's my big thing. Are you going to make your guys better? I don't know, but
they need to take those game checks back.
KD should have stayed in Golden State. All he had to do was put up with Draymond Green there. That's it.
Yeah, they need to be docking this dude's game checks. Like, you don't get to sign $100 or $200 million contract and just tell them, well, I'm not playing today. Like, they pay you, they give you a check every game. You get paid by the game every 2 weeks. And so if you decide and you're just not going to play because you just don't feel like it, you shouldn't get paid.
So, all right. So listen, I'm not making a joke out of this, but I am saying that is Rodney's perspective. That is
with a case like this, he's not in.
That is Rodney's perspective. Yeah. So here's the thing. As far as we know, right, not physically injured. He said personal reasons the last I heard, so it could be one of those mental health things. I don't know. I really don't know, and I want to be clear. I'm not making a joke about it, but I'll say this. The union, the NBPA, the NBAPA, the the NBPA, has things in place, and I would imagine that he is protected by everything that they have in place. So if he is following the rules in regard to that, then I wouldn't be asking for him to get docked. Like, if all of this is acceptable, like, I don't know if it falls under load management, or maybe it is, maybe some kind of mental health does fall under an injury or family personal reasons. I don't know. But if it really does come down to what we're hearing, that it's just this guy being disgruntled, then we've seen this before. We've danced this dance before. Wouldn't it be ironic if he doesn't want to play in a team of 3 superstars and he forces a trade? Can you imagine Kyrie forcing a trade right when Harden comes? That would be hilarious.
After getting Durant to go there.
But clearly he didn't want Steve Nash to go there, even though they're co-coaches. I don't understand.
But that's not what he was saying when they all first got there. He wasn't speaking about Steve Nash in a negative way, saying, "Oh man, I don't know why they." He was like, "Oh, Steve Nash, cool. We all respect him."
Yep. That's what he was saying.
If you didn't feel that way, why would you come in public on record saying that? You just should have kept your mouth shut. Don't say anything.
So I'm sitting up here looking at the standings, and I'm like, why are there only 15 teams? Why not 16? But then I realized they have 3 divisions in each conference that have 5 teams each. So I'm good. All right. So Eastern Conference, the Celtics, Bucks, and Cobb 76ers are tied for first. The 76ers were kind of running away with it until they had people go down for COVID. And what they lose? Oh, they lost 2 in a row and then they won last night. What do you guys think about the state of the Eastern Conference?
Nobody's talking about Doc Rivers, but he's got them playing pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, I picked them to win the East. I'm talking about them. I stand by that.
Oh, the Sixers? I think they'll come out the East. Yes, definitely.
I stand by that. Is that you beating up on your mic, Jimmy?
Probably. I'm just tapping my finger. The East to me seems like the league of the side of who's going to take charge. There's so many teams that you could say should be up there. I mean, Indiana surprised everybody jumping out the gate. Orlando was doing great until Markelle Fultz got hurt. Even Charlotte is looking. I mean, LaMelo Ball is playing really well. So I don't know if any team actually has an edge, and I'm not even for sure if Brooklyn got an edge by adding Harden. I mean, like Rodney was on his rant about defense and stuff like that, and Trey was even co-signing with at least try. Harden can't. He's not. Who you gonna put him on? When you play certain matchups, he ain't guarding Jaylen Brown. You know what I'm saying? Who you gonna put him on? Kemba Walker? Like he's not gonna do nothing. I just think the East has the most parity out of the two conferences, but I don't see no clear-cut winner. I mean, we all can make predictions. I got Boston coming out the East, but who knows? With the way this is, every team's a COVID non-participation away from getting swept in the playoff series. That's what, 2 weeks? Basically, you got to sit out for COVID. You catch COVID at the wrong time, they gone. Or are they going to bubble them up again for the playoffs? I mean, what are they going to do? Because the East, remember, did you guys read what George Hill said? He said, I'm a grown man. I'm a millionaire. I don't want to do what y'all tell me what to do. I'm quite sure there's a lot of those guys that feel the same way. If you're on the Lakers right now, and I'm just jumping to the Lakers, LeBron is such the leader of that team. Take your butt home. Don't come here with that COVID stuff, because Lakers hasn't had one of those instances yet, because they got strong leadership. I don't see where Brooklyn has that leadership. I'm not sure if Boston has that leadership. Milwaukee, I mean, Giannis is good, but is he really the leader of that team? Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid are such children when it comes to mentality. Are they even leaders on that team? So whatever team has the best leadership in the East down the stretch, the team that stays the most disciplined, doesn't get caught with COVID, that'll be the team that comes out. And that can be any of 10 teams right now in the East.
True.
Shout out to LaMelo Ball doing his thing in Charlotte. Triple-double. Youngest in history. Wow. All right. Rod, Trey, the East, or shall we move on to the West?
I'm still staying with Boston. As long as Kemba doesn't get hurt at the end. I don't.
Rodney's still talking about people's injuries.
Hey, I'm going for them as long as they stay healthy and don't get hurt.
Right. Now, well, I didn't say they, Kemba. So, because other people can get hurt, he can't. Like there are certain players that can't, that are too valuable to your team. And last year he got injured right before the playoffs, and he was never the same.
So history may tell it differently, because we know the writers are the writers, and they're not all filled with integrity like me. But mark my words, January 14th, 2021. The best of that bunch, when all is said and done, will be Jaylen Brown, or will have been Jaylen Brown. And I know that in most people's minds, he's at best third behind Jason Tatum and Kemba Walker, and you can probably say that in the other order. But I think Jaylen Brown is going to wind up being the best of that bunch. I'm just throwing it out there.
He's the beast. I could go with, yeah.
But I said that last year too. Like how they go is how he goes is how they go. All right, so yeah, it is a toss up. I like Philly to do what they need to do, and that's after 2 years of me choosing Milwaukee. All right, preseason pick for me, Philly. All right, down here, Rod's Clippers are holding strong at 2. And Becky Hammond's Spurs are 8th. And so Jimmy basically called the Eastern Conference the B Conference. Well, he said there's more parity there. So if you say there's more parity there, then who are your front runners here, Jimmy? Let me let you go first. Who are your front runners here?
The Lakers, of course, was the front runner. I thought Denver would be better, but I think Denver got a little bubble lag. I think that team played too many games. Remember, they had 2 7-game series, and then they went out in 5 to the Lakers. They played as many games as the Lakers did, and the Lakers made it to the finals. So I think that team, and then losing Jeremy Grant. If you guys have been paying attention to Jeremy Grant this year, he's been killing over in Detroit. That would have been a big, if they could have kept him, that would be big for them. They would have been front runners. But it's just Lakers, Clippers, really. I don't see too many other teams that are going to compete with them come postseason time. I mean, you like the talent that's on Dallas, but Dallas can't defend at all. Porzingis is a good big man, but he's fragile, as Rod would say. That man's fragile. He trip over a piece of bubble gum, he might be done for his career. All right. The Jazz, I mean, besides Mitchell, who's putting the ball in the bucket, Portland is just small. Golden State is learning how to play with each other. I think they should incorporate Wiseman a little more because he's a dominant big man right now. He's just a rookie, and he's only played a handful, not even a whole half a season. But he's showing that he has that potential. But it's Curry gunning from the outside, Wiggins falling asleep on the court, and Oubre who can't shoot a beach ball into the ocean standing in the boat. So it's absolutely Lakers Clippers to blow in the West. I mean, the Suns might, because of Chris Paul leadership, they might do some damage, but the rest of these teams are lacking way too much to beat the Lakers and Clippers. So those are the top 2 teams. Everybody else is just fighting for, hopefully we can upset one of them and get to the Western Conference Finals.
Like Denver, huh? Okay. Like Denver last year, I should say.
Yeah.
Breaking news. Hold on, guys. Let's go back to football. Breaking news. Lions hire Brad Holmes as general manager. I smell Marvin Lewis cooking, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Boop, boop, boop. All right. Back to the NBA. Thanks for that, Cobbs. All right.
Matt.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Can the Lakers compete with your Clippers? Can your Clippers defeat the Nuggets this time around? And are the Jazz for real?
Well, I've never been a believer in the Jazz. I don't believe in.
You see how he didn't discount the fact that the Clippers are his, though. He went straight to the Jazz. I just want to point that out.
I'm going there. But I've never believed in the Jazz. I like Mitchell, his playing ability, but he's too small. So I just never see that coming. That's not going to work. Though, like Max said, the only players really out there are the Lakers, Clippers, and the Suns could be a serious factor. Jelani McCoy, I agree, was huge. I mean, Jelani Grant for Denver.
I was like,
shout out to the Bruins.
Jelani Grant was a big loss for them. So, and they lost a couple other pieces. So, yeah, Denver's not going to be the same team. But Phoenix with Chris Paul, and if Chris Paul is mentally ready in the playoffs, because he has a tendency to start losing it when the playoffs come. But if he keeps it together, Phoenix could be a serious contender. With Devin Booker and Ayton, they got a big 3. Nobody calls it a big 3, but they have a big 3. So I haven't seen enough of them to know what they have on the bench, but those 3 are legit, and they would give any 3 a run for their money. But Lakers and we don't know what PG2 is going to do. So, the Clippers are always going to be a question mark.
Well, he hit a buzzer beater yesterday.
He hit the ball in the regular season.
But Anthony Cobbs won't allow us to call that clutch because it's not a game winner. So we know PG is not clutch, but that's a different story. Yeah. We'll see what happens. Listen, the Lakers handled the Clippers. Actually, Denver handled the Clippers, but the Lakers would have. And so my bitterness toward Paul George the 13th is gone. Let that man represent California and do his thing on the B team. I'm good with it. I have nothing against him. I would like for him to do well. I would like for the B team to make it to the Western Conference Finals against the A team and get put in their place once again. Yeah, so there's that. I was definitely pulling for Denver last year to like do some, well, in the bubble to do some things this year. It's not looking great yet, but we'll see what happens. Portland, boy, you just never know with them. They're currently 5th, tied with the Phoenix Suns, but it's just too early to tell what's going to happen with these teams. If we check back around the All-Star break, and that obviously we don't have the second half schedule yet. We don't get that for some time. But we'll see how Portland winds up. But I do believe that Phoenix can do some damage, and I believe that Portland probably can too. Say the Lakers, Clippers, Blazers, and the Suns. And I don't believe in Utah. I think that GS is just, that the Klay Thompson situation once again. A lot of young players, and I think that the funniest thing Jimmy Mack has said in a long time is, who did you say fall? You didn't say Oubre falling asleep. You said Wiggins falling asleep.
Wiggins falls asleep.
Falling asleep on the court. Like, come on, man.
He said Oubre couldn't throw the ball in the ocean in the speed.
Ball in the ocean. Yeah, I got that. And responding to what somebody said about the bubble, Dietrich is telling us that yes, there will be a bubble again for.
No, that's smooth.
I'm sorry. My bad, Smoot. Didn't know you were here. I just saw the D. What up, David Smoot? My man, my mellow. Get on the post because you eat Jello. All right, so a bubble again for the playoffs. That shot meant nothing. Not clutch. Dude, if you were gonna keep posting, why didn't you just stay on? No, I know you probably never be. All right, so. NBA, let's get some predictions again. I've got Lakers, Sixers. Trey?
Lakers, Sixers.
Okay. Rodney?
Lakers, Celtics.
Wait. He didn't say who was going to win. He said, you're not taking your team? You're not rocking with the Clips?
You're not going with your Clippers?
You do see this purple background in my room, right? I've never been a Clipper fan.
I just see the Eagles T-shirt you have on.
Yeah, no, this is Long Beach Poly, brother.
I can't see it.
I stay with the home team.
Stand up and show us again.
I stay with the home team.
Show us the home.
Class of 88.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All
right. I asked this before, and I don't know why this randomly had me come to this.
Jimmy Mack's prediction.
Oh, Jimmy Mack.
Lakers Celtics.
Oh, okay. 2 Lakers Celtics, 2 Lakers Sixers.
The Lakers. Anthony, who you got? Yeah, are you? I know you might be too superstitious to say Lakers. What's up, Wayman Wiley? You might be too superstitious to say Lakers Sixers, but what you got, Cobbs? Wayman Wiley has Lakers Celtics. Okay. Listen, that's just too close for comfort for me. We still need one to catch them.
No, we're tied. It's tied.
We're tied. Yeah, we just got it in the bubble.
Yeah. It's battle for 18.
88. 1908. That's the year 88.
I want to have 18 before they even get a shot at getting to 18.
Hey, Cobbs just joined me in the 50 and older club. I know your AARP card is in the mail. He had to leave and take those 5 bathroom breaks that the rest of us on. That's where he went. That Metamucil kicked in.
That's funny.
Oh boy, Rod is on one. Rod, where is Rod and what you do with him? All right, so Lakers Celtics again, 88. We know 89 was perilous. 89, I was actually a ball boy in the Dallas Mavericks series. And then my buddy was actually a ball boy in the Pistons series.
I've never seen a 37-year-old ball boy.
That's really good, right? Yes, you have. Yes, you have.
Never seen 37-year-old boy with a full beard. You out there with a full beard.
Can't do it. The problem with your joke, it would have been good, but that dude Carlos, who started when he was like 8, is still a ball man for the Lakers, and he's 40, so he's still there.
Black dude with the curl.
Yeah, he went to Burners.
So you can get your job back then. They won't age you out.
No, he probably moved up to like Tiles or something like that.
Lakers, Sixers, or Clippers, Celtics. All right, you go back to your meeting. Oh wait, before we get to Cobbs, this is for Rodney. Free pancakes, I guess, for the 50 and up. Is that Denny's or IHOP, way?
Shit, both. Probably at Norm's.
Oh, Norm's is definitely giving you free food. My mom told me.
Says the man that goes to Sizzler for free soup.
Hey, wait, but check this out. Why I say hello to my neighbor and he was like, "How you doing, sir?" Wait, why am I sir? Just asking
He's showing respect.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't call him sir, and he's got to be like, I don't know. I thought maybe he's like 30. I don't know. It's funny. He said sir, and that's twice that I've spoken to him, and that's been sir. It's funny. Like, who you think I am, right?
Expecting him to say, "I'm good, partner."
Yeah, like, what's up? What's up? Denny's. Okay. Cobb said they called him OG last Sunday on the court. Not old school like they call Rod. Hey, speaking of old school, shout out to Marcus Johnson, MJ of the Milwaukee Bucks and Clippers, and of course in the UCLA Bruin Hall of Fame. Not in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, but he should be. He's also in the Milwaukee, the Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Wait, he's in the Wisconsin Hall of Fame and the Milwaukee Hall of Fame. He should be in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. Anyway, he's old school 88. Shout out to Marcus Johnson. Straight up. All right. So we've got the NFL, we've got NBA, and we're coming up on it. We got our predictions for this weekend. Any comments on the college football CFB playoff, CFBP national championship? That massacre. Anybody have anything to say about that?
It was a good first half. That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, it was a good first 6 possessions. Yeah. Or actually first 8 possessions, because it was.
There should be a job opening for defense coordinator in Columbus right now.
I agree.
That should be a vacant
head coaching job.
Yeah, that should be a vacant spot.
Because he's getting a head coaching job. Well, like I said to Rod, because we were on the phone, if you couple that, like, which one should define you? If one game defines him, should it be the Alabama loss or the Clemson win?
That's a good question. What you seen really was a lack of good coaching in that game. That's what made the game so bad. Defensively, I have no idea what Ohio State was doing. I think that man was like, "Hey, don't cover number 6. Don't worry about him."
Yeah,
he's not a problem. He's not a problem. Just let him do his thing. Don't worry about him. Like, I don't know what. I mean, the dude had a historic half.
But it was also like he was running in slow motion and still getting behind everybody.
I said, I don't get this. I don't get this at all. But I don't know, man. I mean, how do you want to define it? Clemson, he looked brilliant, but then Clemson also don't have a Devontae Smith. And against Alabama, I mean, the man looked like he never coached a game in his life of college football. So I don't know, man. I mean, it just goes to show you the difference between Alabama and the rest of the nation. I think that's going to sit poorly on college football. Alabama's a semi-pro team, really, if you look at it. Those guys, at least 30% of that roster. Everybody else don't have that type of talent. And that talent is in the line play and in their playmakers. A lot of those guys, when they do transition to the NFL, they're not great, but they're still on NFL rosters. Where other guys, you know, in Ohio State, the crazy thing is Ohio State's supposed to be defensive, and Alabama ripped them apart, both of those teams, through the air this year. So it just goes to show you the type of talent that's running around in Tuscaloosa. I'm still baffled on how you get these young black men to buy in going to the University of Alabama like that. Because I think those guys, no matter where they would go, they'll go pro. That they have that type of talent. But constantly, that talent is headed to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. It's not that it gives college football a black eye. It just shows that there's a disparity in talent between one school and the rest of the country.
Yeah, and so, my dad's here. So Cobbs, shout out to you, Jimmy Mack. My dad said you made a good point. Shout out to Anthony Carter Sr. So the semi-pro point. So Cobbs likes to say he'll take the field over this and the field over that. If it's Alabama or the field next year, I'm going with the field. I'm going with Clemson again. And I think they're the early favorites. But every year it's like Alabama or the field, to Jimmy's point. Like, because so many people keep going there. So many stalwarts, so many standouts keep going there. And it's almost like he's got something over, Saban has got something over their parents or their families or something. Like, you know, he's got some kind of stranglehold. He's bribing them to come there. But to Jimmy's point, they're going to go pro anyway. Like they could go, you know, play at Howard and still go pro. They'll be found. They will be found. So yeah, it's interesting. Semi-pro, it is a good point, but we know that I get the idea, right? Because actually semi-pro teams suck, but
They really do.
the bridge between like people who who are like almost, so it's almost like when you have the prep schools for the people who are out of high school but they're not going to college yet. It's like that.
Yeah.
A prep college team where they're all better than everybody else in college, and they're just waiting to finish that third year so they can go pro. So yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, look at participation. Got the heads on here.
That's where we are, though. Players like to go all to one spot nowadays. You know, they're not talking about, hey, let's all stay home and make this UCLA or somebody.
Yeah. Well, because Chip Kelly's there, so you got to understand he wants to go there.
You know, and that's where we are. So if something happens to Nick Saban, they'll just all go migrate to one other school and make that one a powerhouse. And you know, they don't spread it around anymore. They figure it's easier for us to win if we just all go to one spot and hold it down. The one thing I will say about Alabama that I liked a little better this year about them that I haven't liked before is that their DBs are legit. Patrick Surtain Jr. and the other one, they actually can cover. Normally they have one great cover corner and the other one is overrated and he's just getting toasted. And you know, we saw that with the DB who's in Pittsburgh now. What's his name?
Fitzpatrick? Is it Minka Fitzpatrick?
Yeah. Minka was the real deal. But on the other side, we don't even know who that guy was. He probably went in the first round too, but he was trash. You know, so this year they actually had two corners that can actually cover. And I think that made a huge difference because then that defensive line just said, man, we don't have nothing to worry about back there. Let's just kill them. But I don't understand, just looking at that game, how do you not, you know, get in some type of zone or quarters or something to try to slow this dude down? Like, and that's what I was saying on Facebook tonight at the game. I've never seen this guy actually run a route to see if he's a true receiver. Never. Not any kind of out routes or comebacks or nothing. Just straight up post. That's it. And I mean, he was getting matched up on linebackers last Monday. All night.
The Heisman Trophy winner?
Talking
about the Heisman Trophy winner?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
You're definitely going to have 200 and something yards when you get matched up with a linebacker on you in the first half.
I don't know. Maybe he's. I don't want to make that joke. I don't care. Maybe it's point shaving. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the defensive coordinator was doing, because it didn't seem like it was lack of execution. It seemed like it was lack of creativity on the from a defensive standpoint. Like, I put that on the man, not on the kids. Like, I don't know what that was. I don't know what
on the kids. They were completely lost.
But I tell you, I tell you who. So it's funny. It's almost like he was trying to help Sarkisian, but Sarkisian didn't need help because Sarkisian already had the Texas job, and he's now at Texas. Do you think he'll hire that guy away as his defensive coordinator?
And they made Sarkisian look just that much better.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've always thought he and Lane Kiffin out of that USC tree were overrated, but they just made him look like he actually knows what he's doing. I'm not saying that he can't draw up plays, but his timing on when to call those plays was always questionable to me, and so was Lane Kiffin. You know, they can draw plays up on a chalkboard, but their timing and ability to call the play is always terrible. But they made him look like everything he called Monday night was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's pretty simple. Trey, you want to weigh in on this college football before we leave? No.
Andrew Wiggins?
Oh, you're muted. I didn't mute you. You want me to unmute you? I can't. You gotta unmute yourself.
Oh no, I didn't know that I was muted. I said no. We like, why are you looking at me like that?
Waiting for that quarter three.
Even about them free pancakes.
No, we good with the college football, but I didn't know that I didn't take myself off of mute, and y'all were just staring at me like this.
All right, so speaking of the USC tree, since Trey's doesn't have anything, the USC tree, you know who's not overrated, and it doesn't pain me to say it because I don't even care, but I think Pete Carroll actually turned out okay. I was never a believer, but I think he was probably better than I thought.
Yes, Pete Carroll was the man.
Pete Carroll's all right. He won at both levels.
Yeah, but imagine if Pete Carroll stays at USC. Do you think Alabama's where they at right now?
No.
Because players would have continued to go to SC.
But then we would really have no hope of recruiting anyone. So if it had to be SC or Alabama, I'm fine with it being Alabama. That actually pains me to say that too. I don't know. Let's get off of college football.
We're gonna get players now because we got nice jerseys. We got that man on them jerseys now.
Yeah, Jordan on them jerseys. That's big. That's big.
Well, North Carolina did have a good season, so yeah. North Carolina is also Jordan Brand, so I could dig it. Let me shout out my guy who played for the University of Cincinnati, Robert Drury, who is my buddy, but my sister's really, really, really good friend. The Cincinnati Bearcats finished number 8 in the final poll. So shout out to the University of Cincinnati and shout out to Robert Drury. All right. Boom. All right. My dad, he calls him Rara. All right. So I guess at this point we can go ahead and close out. We're pushing 2 hours anyway. Thank you to everybody for joining in and watching and or listening. As I get ready, Jimmy. Get ready with your comments. I want to thank everyone that came on and commented, from Damian Davis to Ina to Dietrich, back to Damian. Obviously, Jimmy Mack and Cobbs came on. Jimmy Mack is still here. My dad, David Smoot, Wayman Wiley. Yeah, thank you all you guys for coming on, checking us out. We appreciate you. All right, so this is the time of the podcast when we go to the closeout. And as our guest co-host, Jimmy Mack, you get to go first. Close out.
All right. Once again, I appreciate you guys for having me on, man. This is it's always good to talk to other brothers that like to talk sports and politics and all that type of stuff, man. It's always good to see that. But I'm just looking forward to a good NFC or NFL divisional round weekend. Sitting down with the family, watching games like we did all this weekend. Being with family right now and this pandemic is always great, but having something in common to be around each other is always great. And if football can be that unifying for my family, maybe it can be the same thing for other people's family as well. So have a good weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Remember Monday, MLK Day, the great MLK who has helped advance Black people in this country more than what he probably even thought he could. So shout out to the holiday and shout out to that man. His legacy will always live forever. And
when is the Sucker Punch podcast? When and where?
Sucker Punch podcast tonight, Facebook Live on Jimmy Mack, McElroy the 4th, 9 p.m. We're going live talking about Cardi B and her parenting, Ohio State's defense,
oh boy,
and the Trump insurrection. So we're gonna have some pretty good topics, man.
Culture,
Bam.
All right, thank you. And then 1585 is
1585 Friday nights, AC Sports Live, 9 p.m. It's always a good show, man. We try to do our best, try to incorporate the comments and all that stuff, man. We have a great time. Me and Anthony Cobbs.
All right,
cool. Hey, man, can I just jump in there and say you had to hear their top 10 WNBA players? That was a classic. I think I'm gonna go back and watch that one again and try to see where it compares with my list. But that was a classic. Yeah.
Oh, man, we're glad we can bring the funk sometimes.
Bam. All right, Rodney, who also has the Harris Middle School alumni podcast on Wednesday mornings at 6 a.m. Shout out to Long Beach. Close out, Rod.
Ooh, all right. My kickball brother champion. Again, stay safe with this pandemic, man. A lot of people are still going around family members and not immediate family members, but distant family members and having these gatherings thinking, well, their family is okay. And you don't know what some of these family members are doing outside of your house and close friends. So you really need to pay attention and keep your mask on and do what you need to do to stay alive. Be safe, continue to watch these sports. I'm really anxious to see what happens in this coming week with all the things that we talked about. Anxious to see what happens in DC, my second home, and looking forward to this weekend, hanging with the family and snacking.
All right, thank you, Trey Hot.
Oh man, yeah, just going off what Rod said, man. I want everybody to stay safe, continue to wear your mask. This COVID thing is real until everybody can get vaccinated. I'm excited. My wife is able to get vaccinated tomorrow, actually. So I'm excited about that. 45 got impeached, yo.
For a second time?
He got impeached. So
in the house, yes.
In the house. Hey, I'll take any time I can hear that word to go next to his name, I'll take it.
Well, it is impeachment.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. Absolutely. For the second time.
You only get removed if it also happens in the Senate, but he is actually impeached. So he has 2 out of the 4 impeachments in the history of the United States. He's got 2 of the 4. He's got half.
But yeah, man, just everybody just try to stay safe, man. That's pretty much enjoy this weekend, with football and stand around, the ones in your household. I would love to be out and, watching the games with friends and all of that, but I don't want to be considered a super spreader. So I choose to stay inside and stay safe, until times are better. Like this, what we're in right now, we're just happy to be COVID free, man. And just appreciate the time that you have with your loved ones. That's it.
Well, thank you. So for me, I am absolutely terrified to be out. I am now used to being in. I do want to get back to officiating, but nothing's happening right now. One of my basketball conferences is going, but because I missed most of the season, it's the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. But because I missed so much of the season with my broken foot, I wasn't on the schedule, and then now it's toward the end of the season, so I don't expect to get anything. So this is definitely the longest I've gone without officiating since I started back in 2008. It's a very weird situation, but I'm not anxious to be anywhere or go do anything. And as far as like staying in your household, that's what I try to do. A really good friend of mine who is similar in that regard wound up letting his guard down, and he was diagnosed with COVID-19, and he actually has double pneumonia right now. And he spent several days on the ventilator, and he's off the ventilator now, but still hospitalized and still not getting any sleep and just miserable. And actually, he had a chance to get the first of the 2 doses for the vaccine, but you're not complete once you have the first dose. So he wound up being exposed after that first dose, and so he still has the second dose on the 26th. So my prayers are with him, and I put it on Facebook, and a lot of people are praying for him. And I didn't put his name out there, but like some people asked for his name so that they could pray for him directly. Like Rodney's wife hit me on the side, so I told her the name. But just pray for people with COVID-19 or who've been affected by it. Pray for those that are still hanging on. Pray for those that passed away. Please, from complications due to it. I am terrified by COVID-19 and all of its friends. So just do all you can to be safe. Again, even if you don't believe in it by some strange measure, then just put your mask on for kicks. Please give people 6 feet when you're in line. Brianna doesn't know this yet, but Rodney does because he was on the phone with me. Almost got into a fight the other day at Kohl's because of 2 guys and their kid, or one guy and his kid and his brother, walked all the way up on me at Kohl's when I was doing an Amazon return. I said, "Hey, can you back up some?" And then he was like, "You could walk up to the window." And I was like, "No, she hasn't called me to the window yet. I'm standing on the circle." So I moved away when they came close to me. And then the brother is like, "Nah, well, you're not even standing on the dot, so we can stand up here." I said, "Well, I moved because you guys walked toward me." And then they started yelling and cursing. And it was just like, I'm obviously going to stand my ground. And Rodney could tell you better than I could. But it was just a really bizarre situation. And so the lady behind the counter called security, and so security came. Well, no, the worker came before security came, and of course the worker didn't handle it right. She was like, "Y'all all need to stop." And I was like, "Okay, I'm good with that, but I'm being threatened by them." And then she turned around and thanked them, and I was like, "Well, why are you thanking them? Is it because you're Latina and they're Latino? Because they are the ones threatening me. Your coworker could tell you that." And she was like, "No, I'm thanking them because they're being quiet." I was like, "They're not being quiet. They both just called me a B in front of you while you were here." So it was just a bizarre situation. And the fat one kept like stepping toward me, and I kept stepping back because of COVID-19. And this is what I'm saying to y'all. Just give people 6 feet. It's really, really simple. You don't need a dot on the ground. You don't need a circle on the ground. Just figure out 6 feet and give that space. It's not gone. Even if you don't believe in it, it's not gone. So please just give people their space. Be safe. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you're listening to this after the fact on Spotify or Anchor or any of the other DSPs, thank you. I promise I will get all these past episodes up and then start doing like I used to do on a weekly basis. I'm like 20 episodes behind, but I'll do it at some point. I am AC from LA. To my left is Trey Hop. Below him is Rodney Saucier Sr. To his right is Jim McElroy the fourth, or Jimmy Mack. We appreciate you. Shout out to Anthony Cobbs for coming on. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you, and we're out.
Peace.
Peace.
Later, fellas.